All right, guys, this is Reflection video number 3. My name is Hector Espericueta-Jimenez.
And I'm Samuel Villafranca. Our partners are Deborah Kuhara and Diego Loa. They cannot be here with us today, but we will be taking their places.
Mhm. Our introduction, for number 1, our cities. Cities are complex systems. Cities functions as dynamic, interdependent systems where social, economic, and spatial elements continually interact. Understanding the complexity is key to addressing modern urban issues effectively. Number 2, our second point is human-centered urban design. Jane Jacobs emphasizes the value of diversity, walkability, and community participation in shaping livable cities. Her ideas challenge top-down planning approaches and advocate for everyday experience of city residents. Our key point number 3 is adapting to contemporary challenges. Today's urban planning must respond to climate change, inequality, and rapid development. Applying Jacobs' principles to modern contexts encourages more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable urban futures.
This video is remembering Jane Jacobs, and the video goes over um, a, quite a few things. The overview is Jane Jacobs was an American Canadian journalist and a sociologist, as well as a brave activist who wrote many books describing the importance of cities around America and throughout the world, but also explaining how these cities work inside and out. Jane focused her work on urban planning and exploring the ways of urbanism while believing that cities should be fun and filled with diversity. Her beliefs and activism, as well as advocacy, Jane believed cities should be vibrant and had a bottom up approach to urban planning. It was her mission to prioritize the preservations of existing buildings and grassroots communities' involvement over large-scale top-down urban renewal projects. Leaving her legacy behind, in 2006, Jane had passed due to a stroke. She left behind her many wise and remarkable words, changing the urban planning world forever and reshaping how people think of cities.
Yes, and for the article, The Death and Life of Great American Cities by Jane Jacobs. In the history of scientific thought, cities fall under level three ability to deal with problems of organized complexity. Cities are more than businesses, living and population, and must be studied thoroughly to see the bigger picture. Relying on statistics and averages doesn't capture real experience and behavior in cities. So city processing must involve. To add on what Jane Jacobs in the reading discusses is how there's 3 problems of city planning. Problems in simplicity, disorganized, and organized complexity. She refers that urban planners should stick to organized complexity to look into small details around the city to be able to see how a city really functions from the people. It's not just statistics or averages as said above, and it's not a simple two-way problem where you can say, oh, there's land and jobs. Let's add a restaurant or an apartment complex. We have to contribute local truths and detail to actually make a healthy city living. Planners must observe how people, places, processes interact so that we find a solution to the city. Our key point number 1 was problems of cities. Jacobs discusses how cities function similar to living organisms. They're interconnected systems. Shane emphasizes that cities can't be understood in one-dimensional thinking because of complex relationships within the city, have with people, buildings, and projects. Number 2, evaluation of traditional city planning. Jacobs critiques modern planners because of the way their limited thinking treat cities like housing and population. This ignores the way neighborhoods interact with each other, function, and develops an oversimplified approach in much planning. A new approach on city thinking. Jacob sees planners to treat and analyze cities the way that scientists do with life. In other words, she calls for observance and paying attention to patterns and processes that are found in cities. Mauricio Jacobs believes that the city planning relies on serving the evolving nature of urbanism.
Urban Resilience, Analyzing the Policies of U.S. Cities by author Woodruff. This article examines how U.S. cities define and implement resilience in their policies, especially in response to growing inequalities and climate change. Woodruff analyzes policy documents and city plans from major metropolitan areas to identify trends in how resilience is being institutionalized in urban government. It finds that resilience often focuses on physical infrastructure and climate adaptation rather than a broader community-based approach. The study notes that many cities adopt resilience language to meet federal and international frameworks, but lack coordination across departments or community engagement. Woodruff argues that true resilience requires systematic thinking and long term commitment rather than just engineering solutions. Resilience as a systematic challenge. Cities face interconnected challenges climate, housing, inequality, infrastructure that require integrated responses. Another factor is governance and policy fragmentation, which is many cities adopt resilience plans, but implementations is fragmented across agencies and sectors. Lastly, equity and community participation. Successful resilience planning must include marginalized voices and local knowledge.
I just realized I was muted, but okay. In the article Urban Planning by National Geographic Society, the writer Mary Shantz discusses urban planners need to make use of the space in the development of cities. They make a decision based on what's needed by the people and to contribute the environmental factors that impact the daily life of people in the cities. In order to successfully make use of the space, you have to consider the daily lives of the human beings in the city. The activities that could be considered is location, transportation, jobs, structures, and can be simple as the distances it takes for people to go to the jobs, grocery store, parks, or school, and etc. This relates to the reading because it gives another example of how city planners go about their way to bring the best possible solution to a problem in the city or in the development of a city. In the article in city development, it states with the reason to build. If there's a problem, there's a way to resolve using urban development techniques. And sometimes city life shrinks, and this is due to jobs, employment laws, pandemics, pollution, and city life on the average person is sometimes not for everyone. Many Many may like the city life, and others would prefer countryside where there's a lot of space or land in between buildings. And another topic discussed in the article is community gardens. Many communities have used up space that hasn't been vacant in order to build gardens or growing their own food like tomatoes, cabbage, potatoes to help reduce pollution, but also do something great about the space. Thank
In this next slide, um, urban planning and quality of life, a review of pathways linking the built environment to subjective well-being. The author explains conceptual modules. The conceptual modules shows that environment affects people well-being through 7 major pathways that are travel, leisure, work, social, relationships, residential quality, emotional experiences, and health. These are pathways of the average person interaction with design, transportation, and housing that affect people's lives. Pathways built between environment and subjective well-being. Where and how we live affects our well-being. Walkable, green, and well-connected neighborhoods make daily life easier and more enjoyable, while along communities, traffic noise and pollution wear us down. Cities that promote active travel, access to parks, and healthy living conditions help people feel physically and emotionally better. On number 3, strategies for improving subjective well-being through urban planning. Urban planning that prioritizes green spaces, accessible public areas, active travel, design, and social equity while involving community should continue to create so that we have more healthy, livable urban environments.
Yes, I found a source of the 7 principles for building better cities. It's a tech talk that discusses cities designed to human scale. Cutthroat believes cities should maintain natural, agrarian landscapes and not make uniform development. And he also discusses the city should support mixed transportation. Cities require a mix of incomes and usage. So having a mix of transit, like more bike paths and subway transits than roads, is more efficient. He also discusses match city density and structure, ensures that size and functions of cities match with citizens to have smart growth.
And in this supporting video, the overview, this is an extra important resource video that details the ideas and plans for the future of urban planning. Jane Jacobs expresses the true importance of urban plan, of urban design, and how we can make cities
Yes, and our conclusion, our takeaway number 1, the circle of life of cities. We learn from the death and life of American cities that it's important to contribute to local truth, understand people's stories as well as listen to concerns and know people details to ensure a healthy and lively city. Our takeaway number two, the strength of urban life and urban planning, cities start to build and fall. It depends on how they are taken care of. Cities can be fragile and break, which hurts a community. We can also help a city become stronger by listening to people and taking care of the environment surrounding it. Our takeaway three of our conclusion is coming together to build better cities. A key takeaway from this lesson is to understand what is a city and what makes a city. Um, it's the people, businesses, culture, and much more make a city thrive to help grow and live in an abundant environment. To add on to this conclusion, I would say it's not building a city is not easy math in a way where it's a two-way relationship between just building buildings. It has to be made up of reasons, and those reasons can be people's lives and how they engage in the community. And that's how we build our urban planning around the people and not just a plot of land.
And that concludes our video and our works cited. Thank you.